Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the class. I think what I usually do is to do a schedule and have the schedule available for you guys to look at online. And I usually follow it, of course, with a class like this, because different things that come up, it changes, but at least you kind of know where we're heading to. And then if you have questions, to be ready with your questions about the different things that we have on schedule. And that's one thing that we haven't done is at the beginning of the class is to ask you if up to now, if you have any questions, where are we going with this, or how do you say this, or can I get help with my spelling with my name, whatever. So let's take some time right now to welcome anybody new. And also, if you have questions, and if you're like me, I'm in a group, I open my mouth and somebody else is already speaking. So if that happens to you, just put it on chat and we'll take a look at it. Do we have anybody new?
Looks like Emma has a hand raised. Go ahead, Emma.
I was here last week. I have a question.
Yeah.
So I know that it's not necessarily accustomed to say yagai in greeting. Could you say tsuha kakewa'a when you see someone? Is that an appropriate greeting?
To say what?
Tsuha kakewa'a.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
Okay, I can also type it. Akingunas cheese.
Yeah. Yeah, if what was it? There was somebody that said it's hot, and I think I mentioned that it is a welcome change in addition to the language. We need to add it to, I think it's just something I don't really think of because I've never had to do that. But if you say it, I welcome it. Any other questions or comments? I don't mind comments.
Denial, you have a hand up. Go ahead. Sorry if I said that wrong.
Good morning, Ganesh Chish. Like us, good afternoon. Daniel Alt Ayaksai. My name's Danielle. I watched the last two classes on the YouTube, so I was glad I was able to join you all today. Shirley, I'm in the Anchichkwan dance group, and we've not had a chance to meet, but I'm glad to be here. I'm a beginning Lingit language learner. I took a semester at University Southeast. So I'm still very much in the new beginnings, but if you all wouldn't mind, I'd like to practice my introduction. So Daniel Alt Aya Ach Sai Ach Li Jachan Ayahat Chaach Nach Hat City Dakoedi Ka Ungangak Ayahat Lukak Adi Aya Ach Daka Nuk U Kitgushi Ayaha Nakahiri Jokat Kwan Ka Ungak Kwan Ka Appalachik Kwan Oeyuhan Anchorage Cook City Ka Wasilach Kuha U So I'm of the eagle moialty, Dacoity, eagle killer whale, and my people are from Chilkat region, but most of us live in Anchorage now.
Mm. That's good.
Ganashish.
Okay, Konachish.
There's a question in chat. Sorry, let me back up. Let me see. So Kaya is asking, how would you say morning routine using Shinget? Morning routine.
Morning routine.
Ah,
Uh, right. Routine. I don't know if we have a word for routine. Give me time to think about that one. If it's all right.
Jules, your hand is raised. Go ahead.
Gunachish, just raising my hand because I'm new to the group and just wanted to introduce myself and just, yeah, and just express my gratitude for being here. So just bear with me a little bit. Ach, tawu, Shetuch Yanik, I'm kind of going through a little sickness right now, so I'm a little a little slow, but so yeah. Jules Ayahat, Yeh Nachat City, Kiksadi Ayachat, Filipino Ayaach Dachanuhu, Pleitka Yadich Nachat City, Shitka Kwan Ayachat, Olympia, Washington, Kuch Au, also known as Hoots Ani, the place of the bear. And I just want to say, Ganachish, Kidkat, Yuhan, Ganachish, Kidkat, Hunkian, and just happy to be here today. Achtu Yake, yeah, my Achtu Atwudikin, my spirit is feeling good today for being here. So, Chish.
Okay, Konachish. Kiksadi, we were talking about Kiksadi earlier. Just remembering Herbert Hope
Yeah, way.
was here, and his determination to make known about the battle of the Kiksadi with the Russians. And so,
Yeah.
he also did other things that we still have to kind of inquire. I think he was involved, or I think it was his idea to hold a clan workshop, a clan something in Hague a few years ago. There was a booklet that came out of it, but I don't have it anymore.
Nah.
So
Sheesh. I'll look into that. I also just wanted to say that I don't hold a Tlingit name due to some cultural dissonance in my family, and also I'm clan adopted, so it's not. But clan adopted through my matrilineal grandmother, my step grandmother, Rose Patterson, who was she's no longer with us now, but was active in the late 80s and early 90s in the Tlingit and Haida Council in Santikihini, also known as Juneau. And so I'm still sorting through a lot of my family history, and finding some understanding with that, because it's a little, complicated as some of these things can be. But um, I'm I dedicating myself to learning our language in the memory of my grandmother, and just I grew up in Shitkaquan, and I have a deep love for our Tlingit culture and our way of life, and so it's just very important to me, and this is why I do this. So just happy to be here. Thank you.
Well, in this class, I usually encourage you to at least pick a pet name or a nickname that you can use during class.
Uh,
So
uh,
if you don't have one, you might start thinking about. I know that one of my students, we were talking about names, and he said, "I don't have a Tlingit name, but I want to be called Porcupine." I said, "What?" And everybody was looking at him. He said, "That was a name that his grandma used to call him because his hair used to stick up when he was little." So,
Chachach,
yeah,
the porcupine.
yeah, yeah, that was so cute. It was, so, you know, throughout the years, uh, I don't want to, uh, uh, for you to forget your heritage. And if you have already have a name, or if you from another culture, or if you have want to give a name to yourself, that's entirely up to you. But I encourage it because when we start conversing, that's going to become important. So good.
Sheesh. Um, I don't want to take up too much time, but I just wanted to ask one clarifying question about that, which is that so I've always been taught traditionally that you don't give yourself a name, that it's it's really a clan thing, or a name that gets bestowed on you, and so to give yourself a Tlingit name is kind of like seen as a little bit of a look down on thing. But I hear you, and if I respect your uh, perspective as an elder, and so if I am hearing that from you, then I'm open to that, and I just want to say thank you for that. So yeah.
Just be aware that it's not a permanent name, it's a nickname that we can use in
Uh,
class.
okay,
And,
understood.
yeah, okay.
I've got one thing to add there, and for some circumstances, I have a friend, one of my peers when I was studying the language in college, who was non-native, and she picked out a class name, Ida. And today, she has been adopted into my clan, and then the class name she picked actually became her actual name, so to speak. So,
Oh,
there's that could
cutie.
happen. So just putting that out there, you know.
Uh, uh,
That could happen.
mhm.
Yeah. Okay, are there any more questions? Those are comments. Those were really good to hear.
Hi there. I don't know how to put my hand up, but I do have a question. I don't have a Tlingit name and I would like to. Is there a way that I would be able to be named? Where would I go to find that? I live in Canada and I haven't been to my band, so I don't know quite where to go.
Yeah, what you can do is because the names are usually family names, and just be aware that traditionally the Clinkets have always, from the beginning of time, had to make up names. They didn't, so, and then they become traditional uh, names that can be passed on. My One of my sons, his name is Hunyis, Hoon Yus. It means for sale. I don't know where
Oh my,
you
I love that.
get a name like that. But my mother told me that it was a very important and name because of something that happened in Haines or Claquan, one of the two places. Traditionally, the Clinkets had to used to live together, everybody in the tribal house. So all the ravens and their family lived together in the house for the ravens. So so forth for the eagles. And then when the white man came, they began all these little family style houses, which the Klunkets really took to it. They were, it was a very welcome thing for them. And they began to move out of these tribal houses. But tribal houses were still really important to have. And they had to keep the tribal houses in good shape because they still had parties and gatherings and different things together. So each house was appointed a house chief to live there with the family. But that took care of the house, keep it up and keep it in shape. So the traditional thing was in the back of the house, all the way in the back, was like a porch, raised level, where the chief lived with his family. And for privacy, they put up a screen. And the screen became a good area to put artwork. So I think it finally became something that really decorated the house. And they put a design that told about who owns the house. So this particular house, Kagwantan house, had a screen with a brown bear because that's my clan, and it was a big, quite a big brown bear, and then and then the artist took a copper and covered the whole bear with that and made the design on the um, on the copper with the background of course, a forest and whatever. And so, of course, the collectors all came around, and this particular collector came and he saw it and he really wanted that screen. And he went in and talked to the house chief, and the house chief said, I don't own it, so I have to talk to the owners. So he the man kept asking and asking and asking to buy it. And finally the house chief went to the chiefs, council of chiefs, and told them this man really wants the screen. He wants to buy it and he won't leave alone. So the chiefs got together and decided, well, the screen is nothing, we can get another one. So, okay, let's sell it to him for $1,000. So he went back and the guy came and said, the chiefs decided you can have it for $1,000. And the collector says, I'll give you 500. So the house chief didn't know what to do, so he went back to the council of chiefs and said he thinks it's only worth 500. And the chiefs were kind of embarrassed that it wasn't worth that much, so they said, well, okay, we'll just go ahead and let him have it. So he got the screen for 500. It turns out that he was a private collector, and the screen never did show up at any museums or any place like that. So, of course, you can't leave the house without a screen. So they worked, and the artist came up with a different design for the screen to be put up. And of course, they have the dedication. So they had the dedication of the screen, and they brought out a little boy, Kagwantan boy. And because of, they said, this is very cheaply made, and anybody that wants to buy it, it is for sale. So we'll give you the name Hun Yis because of that. And that's where the name came from. Hun Yis. It's kind of a fun name that my son has. He has a lot of humor to tell about it. And so that's how the name came to be. It was given to the little boy, and it has since been passed on in my clan to my son has that name. So yeah, you hear about different names that I wonder how did they come up with that. So there is a story behind some of the names, and many of them have been lost. That one particular one is kept alive. I think I might have helped to keep it alive, hoping that that screen will show up somewhere in some museum. But apparently that was a private collector, and it never did see it anywhere. So keep your eyes open. Is there any more questions or comments? And how much time do I have left? I'm talking too much.
We've got about 35 minutes, and I believe that was all the questions that we had.
Great. Do we have any more questions or comments?
I have a comment. So I received my name at a potlatch, a memorial kui,
Yeah.
and from the culture bearer, and one of my clan sisters had picked the name out for me. For Stars, does she have access to communicate with her culture bearer?
She has access to.
Does she have access to her culture bearer? Is there someone in her family who is a culture bearer? That would be one avenue to go ahead and do some research.
Yeah.
If they don't have a culture bearer, I don't know how it is up there in the inland. I'm from the south,
Yeah.
southeast, so it might be different, but maybe she can get with the community and they can come up with some names and have a little potlatch or something like that.
A lot of these culture things are the same, even though the language is kind of different. We did a lot of things that were the same. So a name given at a potlatch is really legal, real legal. You can pass it on to your grandson or a relative because it stays. I have, like my name, I told you was Shaksani Keek, but when I was born, I got an original name. Then I got Shaksani Keek, and then I got two more names at potlatches like you. And so those are really honorable. It's a real honorable way to get a name, and you can use it. So congratulations.
Finish.
Yeah.
Derek has a hand raised. Iikloha.
Is he muted?
Darren, do you have a question? Or Derek, sorry. Your hand was up. Maybe it was a mistake. I think he's having a connection problem, maybe.
Try hitting spacebar and that might work.
Being muted, it's in Tlingit language, it's called outlidik.
Suyeyanaka Kaudle
Outlidik, outlidik,
Kaudle Dick
frozen mouth.
goodness cheese. Frozen
Outlidik, outlidik,
Okay.
Dick
ik,
Dick
yeah, dik.
Kaudle Dick
Yeah, there you go.
goodness cheese.
Okay, is there someone else that has any comments or questions?
We're still there eating. Be hungry.
Yeah. So we can come back to a question if we overlooked you, or you can send me an email, so whatever you choose. But the things that I wanted to go over today is the vowels, and I don't know if Alan was able to get that.
He sent it to me. I'll put it on screen here in a second.
I did find one, but it's not the original one that I was looking for, Grandma.
Yeah. If it's what I like is the letters without words.
And I believe this one might be better than the one we had.
Is that Jone's vowels? Just the letters?
I'm back and it's working if I can still ask a question.
We can hear you.
Can everybody see that? Okay. If you learn the vowels and learn and just get so used to saying them, you'll be able to read Lingit, and you should be able to write it. Or if somebody comes up to you and says, "You took Lingit, how do you write this, or how do you read this?" So please pay attention. If you see the letter A, is there a letter A?
Do you still have that question up?
Question, the letter A, single letter A.
Grandma, I'm not talking about that. Someone had a question earlier and he couldn't unmute and now he wants to ask the question.
Yeah, sorry. I'm doing the screen share, but it changed the Zoom options. I'm trying to do the Zoom stuff and it's not working very well. Derek signed out and came back for his connection. He had a question and it looks like Edna has a hand up as well.
Ooh, yes. If it's still not too late to ask questions.
Yeah, we can have you ask your question.
Yes. So I was given a name by my great uncle Walter Sobolov, but I wasn't raised in the culture very much because my parents directly were quite Christian, and so I don't quite really know how to pronounce it. So I was hoping with help with that. Do you know what it means? And I kind of roughly know what it is. If you could help me out.
Yeah. What is it?
I think it is Kakina or Kakina, either the man on the mountain or the man above, I believe.
Yeah, you'd have to spell it for me so I could sound it out.
Okay, that I don't have in front of me. I'm sorry.
Okay.
If you could put it in text chat, I could sound it out for her.
I don't know the exact spelling off the top of my head, is what I'm saying. I'm sorry.
Oh. Well, write it out and try to say it, and then we'll work on it. And this
Okay.
happens all the time, so we need to keep up working on those. So why don't you send me an email? Do you have my email? skendall8644 at Gmail. And write it out the best you can and just tell me what you think it is. We'll see.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And Edna has a question.
Yes, hi Shirley.
Hi.
Binatish. I have two. One is the thing that's on the screen is the Tlingit pronunciation, but it's all of the letters, not just the vowels. That's what I have on my screen anyhow. So they would have to pick out the vowels, and I guess we could do that. The other question or comment I had was with regard to my name. My Tlingit name is Kathyat, and it was given to me by my grandmother when I was a child, I think. I don't remember. But she used to call me Mom all the time because the name was her mother's name. And so my great grandmother, I do not know, and I have never heard what it means or the story behind it. And sadly, those folks who would know are all passed on, my grandma, my mom, my aunts, who would know maybe the story behind it. But to start, perhaps you can help me figure out what it, not the figurative translation, but the literal translation. What is Kathyat? And it's Kaally high tone T. Kathyat.
Sounds like the K is underlined.
I think it is, although in the way that we've learned to spell it, it is not. So,
Kathyat or Kathyat.
yeah. So I know in terms of the little bit that I've learned, you know, the AA is a long A, ka, and the L is silent, ka, and then Y-A-T.
Yeah.
A,
Child
I,
of Kath. That's what it means.
could you say that again, please?
You're a child of Kath.
Child of Kath.
Yeah, that's probably somebody's name and probably had a meaning. But we could look more into that and see if there's something that that we can find Kath or Kath.
Okay.
Okay.
And to answer your first question or comment, I'm not able to highlight the stuff on the screen here. I was trying to do that, so I can't. So we can't isolate these, so to speak, the sounds.
There's another way to do a screen share. You want me to do that instead?
Sure, let me cancel this one.
It was easier in class. I used to just write it on a board. If you can't get it, I think I'd like to go ahead with punctuation. It's I think it's something that's really important when you study the Downhauer books. You will find that they did not use any punctuation, such as question marks or exclamation marks or commas or anything like that. So it was totally the Tlingit way. And what we recognize as punctuation marks in our language, some people who count the alphabet, there's 48 letters, actual letters, but there are 4 marks that are used to change the letters. So I'd like to talk about that, but I want you to be aware when you write or type something and you know it's a question, do not put a question mark. And we'll talk about Tlingit question marks. Any of those, and because of the ones that we do use, will cause you some mistakes, and it's really important to be able to do the Tlingit language the way that we speak it. So we have 4 marks that we use, and for this once, I will talk about the apostrophe mark that is used in English. In Lingit, we call it when you see that mark on next to a consonant, we call it pinched. So you pinch the letter, and it changes the letter from K to A to so just be aware when I say a letter is pinched. That's what you do. You put the apostrophe next to that letter, so that when you read it or write it, you have it right. So pinch is an apostrophe next to the consonant. Then, of course, there's an underline. When we have underlined letters, it's a warning to you that you move that letter to the back of your throat. So it's ka. When it's underlined, it's ha. So you feel it right away, the difference. So keep that in mind. Underline, you will see only with consonants like the pinch. And the third mark that we use is a period. And this is one of the things that helps to cut down on the confusion. If in English use and the sentence, we have the tendency to put a period. You don't have to and think it. It's called a glottal stop. When you see the period, it only, this is really important, it only appears between vowels. And you already know, I think there's a good example in English, and it's oh, that kind of sound. Oh, that's a glottal stop. So, and you don't, you think, okay, we're not going to see that very much, but it's seems to be pretty common in our language to have that. It separates two vowels, usually two single vowels. So glottal stop. So the first one is pinch. Second one is underline. A third one is period. Then the fourth one that you will be seeing is what is it? A mark that is used, a tone mark. And tone mark also applies only to vowels, only. So you have to apply it when the voice goes up. And the Tlingit language is very monotone, very monotone. So in your English brain, English speaking brain, I'm not saying your English speaking brain tells you, okay, it's a question, so your voice should go up. So wasa iati is a question. So you tend to say wasa iati, the voice goes up in the end, because in English we say, how are you? How are you? So wasa iati, wasa iati. And in Tlingit, the question mark appears on the SA. The tone mark is on the SA. That's where the question mark is. Wasa iati. Wasa iati. Wasa iati. So you don't have to have a question mark at the end of your sentence in order to tell it's a question, because your question mark appears back there, closer to the front. So, are there any comments or questions on that?
We have about 15 minutes left.
Yeah, the tone mark, you need to really pay attention to the tone marks, because if you use a tone mark where it's not supposed to be, you're saying something else. So that's important, okay. T-E-E-L, tone mark, tone mark on first E, T-E-L, T-E-E-L. The way I would say it is T-E-E-L. tone mark on first letter, first E. And it's pronounced teeth, teeth. Your voice is up. It means shoes. Tone mark, no tone mark on same word. T-E-E-L, T-E-E-L. No tone mark. Teeth, teeth, scar. So that I like to emphasize that because if you got to be careful in what you say, if the tone marks are not in the right place, you're saying, or putting it where it isn't, you're saying something else. So keep that in mind as you read. Your eyes have to be fast and you have to really be aware of the tone marks. Are there any comments or questions at this time on this?
I will say, my language class, we had Kingishte, David Katzik come, and he was telling us that there was somebody having a speech and they put the wrong tone on gouache, and everybody in the audience had to not laugh. So yes, you have to be very careful.
Yeah, it makes it kind of funny if you hear it when you hear it. So you have to pay attention. Also, I keep saying that if you want to sound Tlingit, you have to make sure you pay attention to the tone marks. The other letter that is really important that I can hear from your discussion is the letter L, which is a voiceless L. For those that are new and haven't heard this, but even if you heard it, I'm going to keep repeating it till I can hear you saying it right. Put your tip of your tongue behind your top teeth and let the air come out the sides. So if you do that to yourself, you'll hear only air. So Lingit. Another one that's really important is, because we use it so much, is Gunachish. That L has to be prominent. Gunachish. If you've been getting by saying Gunachish, you're not going to be able to in this class. So you're going to have to learn it. Gunachish. Clean get. So the L does appear in a lot of places, in a lot of our words. So it's really something you have to get into your head when you see it. So are there any comments or questions? Okay, in the Dauernhauer books that they put out, I really value what Nora Dauernhauer was able to put across to everybody about the language. Talk about a culture bearer that she was to help us to learn that. The book that they wrote there was, you bought the book and there was a folder of discs that went along with the discussion. And I was a little bit frustrated in using this for the students because they went too fast. That wonderful speaker helping them, but the students in my class couldn't keep up, so I had to just use it as a reference book. But to hear the discussion, that was a good thing. So please, if you have any questions or comments about the punctuation, the marks that we talked about today, that's going to appear in the language and the process of learning the language. I wanted to go over the vowels, and so how much time do I have?
We have 9 minutes.
Okay, 9 minutes. This is a speedy lesson here. In your mind, you can picture it. A single letter A. Single letter A, one A. Ah. Ah. Single letter A. Ah. Single letter A. Ah. Double A. Ah. Ah. Double letter A. Ah. Single letter A. Ah. Double A. Ah. Single letter I. Eh. Eh. Single letter I. Eh. Single letter I. Eh. Single letter A. Ah. Double A. Ah. Single letter I. Eh. E-I. A. A. E-I is A. Single letter A. Ah. Double A. Ah. Single letter I. Eh. E-I. A. Single letter E. Eh. Single letter E. Eh. Single letter E. Eh. Single letter A. Ah. Double A. Ah. Single letter I. Eh. E-I. A. Single letter E. Eh. 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 Single letter E. Eh. Double E. E. Double E. E. Double letter E. E. Single letter A. Eh. Double A. Ah. Single letter I. Eh. E-I. A. Single letter E. Eh. E. Double E. E. Single letter U. And I hope that you will always look at my mouth when I'm talking. Single letter for you. Single letter U. Single letter U. Single letter A. Ah. Double A. Ah. Single letter I. Eh. E-I. A. Single letter E. Eh. Double E. E. single letter U, double O, ooh, double O, ooh, double O, ooh, single letter A, double A, single letter I, E-I-A, single letter E, double E, single letter U, double O, ooh. So that should be recorded. So you want to study it more, and because you're going to have me drilling you if I hear that you're not getting it. I will continue to stress that. Single letter A, single letter I, single letter E, single letter U, and those are all very short and abrupt. So keep that in mind. Single letter U, single letter E, single letter I, single letter A, I think the double letters are pretty easy to remember. I always have to laugh when we do the double E, because as kids we used to say that a lot. When we see something gross, but it's part of the vowels. So please study that and get it in your head, and we'll talk about using the tone marks on these vowels the next time. Did I do all right? What time is it?
We have just a few minutes left.
Okay. So thank you all for coming and taking your time, and really good to hear from all of you and your enthusiasm for the language and encouragement that you give me for the person that asked about morning routine. We'll talk about that next time. Yeah. So, Gunachish Ekosatin.
Gunashchish, Suye Konstantin.
Gunashchish tsuye ikwasatin.
Ganashchish, Suye Equasatin.
Gunos chish, sui ye ix quasatin.
Okay, Gunachish.